meant for specific functions within KDF. Well, that is the CS for Defense, Aden Barre Duale, who, by the way, not only being the CS for Defense, is a very, very close ally of President William Ruto. Not just an ally, but a confidant. Remember, a few years back, around 2013, the now CS talked about, he was rather asked when he will retire from politics. And he said, I will retire one day from politics after the then Deputy President William Ruto becomes president. Now, William Ruto is currently the president. Remains to be seen whether by the time President William Ruto quits politics or, of course, if at all, he secures his second term in office and ends up being the president for 2 terms to 2032, whether Aden Barre Duale will still be in politics or not. But again, we'll be talking again about this particular scuffle between the DP's office and the military in regards to him using military choppers and rather police aircraft. But again, I mean, we're being treated to some sort of power play here, because, like they say, should the DP be treated as a mere politician, like the rest, like the MPs, senators, women representatives, or part of the presidency? We'll be talking about that this particular morning. But again, going back to the front page, they say UDA fights expose Ruto's knack for combat politics. That is a story on page 20. They say emerging grift in the UDA mirrors Ruto's political career, which has been characterized by controversy, despite always emerging victorious amidst turmoil. Now, we all know President William Ruto rose to power amid chaos and what his allies termed as harassment from the ruling administration that was then led by former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Now they say emerging rift in UDA mirrors President William Ruto's political career, even as ODM deputy leader. President William Ruto, remember, was at the center of divisions that threatened to tear apart the party. Now, in regards to the UDA party, that is the United Democratic Alliance, the ruling party, last week we had the delegates meeting for the Nairobi UDA, members and all that at the Bomas of Kenya. Now, just a week before that, the DP was in Uasin Gishu County, the backyard of President William Ruto. And again, he exchanged words with Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi. He's a close confidant of President William Ruto. Now, the DP is at loggerheads with a lot of, MPs, governors within the UDA party. Now, a few days after, having a war of words with Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi, again, the DP seemingly has issues with Nairobi Governor Johnson Arthur Sakaja. And in fact, during the UDA, at the Bomas of Kenya, delegates meeting rather, at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi delegates meeting, that is, the Nairobi Governor, Arthur Johnson Sakaja, fired salvo at the Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua, in terms of, him having, talking about the politics of Nairobi and all that, because it has been widely reported, and in fact, the DP himself said he will intervene in the Nairobi politics and ensure that Nairobi works. That is what the DP said just a few weeks ago. Now, apart from that, the Nairobi governor, just a few days later, told the DP to keep off Nairobi politics, and him being, I'd want to quote, a crybaby. And in fact, they talk about them not reading from the same script, because Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been at loggerheads with the Nairobi governor, because at one point in time, it was widely reported that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua supports James Gakuya for the chairmanship position of the United Democratic Alliance. Now, that is seemingly where the row began, because Arthur Johnson Sakaja, the governor for Nairobi, is said to be supported by President William Ruto and his lieutenants here in the capital, Nairobi. Now, that again forms, the chaos within the ruling party. And again, we'll be talking about that this particular morning. But just, running across the standard this particular morning because of time, On page 4, they talk about the White House rituals. RUTO's reception that included a picture at the Resolute desk, that is the desk over the President of the United States of America, POTUS, if you'd call it that. Now, they say, according to this U.S. Secretary of Defense, that is Lloyd Austin III, I'm pleased to announce that 3 Kenyan cadets have been admitted to 3 U.S. military service academies. They will be the first Kenyan cadets to attend these outstanding schools. That is part of what, they say President William Ruto's visit was all about, because he secured, deals more than 50 billion in terms of, worth of deals, around 52 billion shillings worth of deals when he visited the United States of America. Now, just because of time, on the back page, they talk about how Real Madrid show why they are the kings of Europe after securing their 15th UEFA Champions League title following a 2-0 win over the Black and Yellow. They say the Los Blancos beat Dortmund 2-0 to lift their record 15th Champions League title. And of course, it was the last game for 2 German machines, Toni Kroos, the pass master, and the loyal servant, Marco Reus of Borussia Dortmund. They both are retired from club football, that is for Marco Reus, and because he also retired from international football. But for Toni Kroos, remember, he was recalled to the German national team, and he'll be taking part in the Euros in a few weeks from now. Not even a few weeks, to be specific. Today is on the 3rd. In around 10 or 11 days, which will be the beginning of the Euros, which will be played in Germany, hoping that the same way Toni Kroos signed out for Real Madrid with a trophy, might as well sign out for Germany with a trophy. Now, shifting gears to the Daily Nation, they say, Tanga Tanga as you wish, Ruto tells MPs. Now, remember, the Tanga Tanga phrase came from former President Uhuru Kenyatta when he was referring to his deputy then, that is the current President William Ruto. And they say, President William Ruto yesterday openly contradicted his deputy Rigathi Gachagua when he encouraged members of parliament to traverse the country in the conduct of their constitutional mandate, saying, as lawmakers, they should not be confined only to their constituencies, exposing the widening political rift between the duo. Like I said, remember, there has been, in fact, the governor of Nyeri County, Mutahi Kahiga, at some point talked about the president contradicting his deputy, because after visiting Kisumu, I believe, before the president visited Kisumu a while back, the deputy president, was talking about how the government belongs to, or rather has shareholders. Those who voted for the government are the main shareholders, the key shareholders. But the president, when he visited Kisumu, talked about all Kenyans being shareholders of this particular government. That was the first time that the president contradicted his deputy, and Mutahi Kahiga, the governor of Nyeri, pointed that out. But yet again, yesterday, the president contradicted his deputy, because, like I said again, a couple of weeks ago, while in Uasin Gishu County, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, in what seemed as, an onslaught on Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi, told him to stay to his constituency, stop roaming around, represent your people, stay within your constituency. And, by the way, Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi was defiant, and he said, I will not. And in fact, you cannot tell me to stay within my constituency while you are addressing me from another person's constituency. Now, the president yesterday said, and you want to say this was in support of MP, Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi, who is a close confidant of, the head of state. And the president said, yes, you can work within your constituency, ensure that, your constituents get the value for their vote in terms of, legislation, representation in the National Assembly, in terms of, development. But do not be reduced to your constituency alone. Traverse across the country. I don't know what the deputy president, what went through the mind of the deputy president when his boss said that. Now, they've quoted what the DP said, and he said, when we call for regional unity, it is not that we want to be united against anybody or for any other reason. Why would somebody isolate us because we are united? That is a question the DP posed. Now, President William Ruto yesterday said, as an MP, don't be cheated into concentrating on representing your electorate in parliament. You must traverse all regions for oversight and legislation roles. That again forms basis of our conversation this particular morning, and why that particular statement by the president is likely to trigger even more chaos within the ruling party. Now, then, on On page 2, they talk about how teachers are up in arms after missing JSS jobs. They say TSC overlooks primary school teachers who upgraded their skills. Remember, JSS teachers have been on strike for some time, but the Budget and Appropriations Committee that is chaired by Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro again is seen as a threat to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in regards to the leadership of the Mount Kenya region. Last week talked about how they had set aside funds for JSS teachers if at all the budget will be approved by the National Assembly, and that led to JSS teachers calling off their strike. But they say President William Ruto domiciled JSS in primary schools following stakeholders' engagement. Of course, Dr. Ruto formed a presidential working party on education reforms to look into competency-based curriculum system. Now, the task force engaged experts, including union officials and teachers associations. Now, the 42-member task force was chaired by Professor Raphael Munavu, and it engaged parents, teachers, religious leaders, school owners, and other key education stakeholders. Now, the task force moved across the country to collect views from stakeholders, including Capture Cupid and the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association. But now there are jitters over, why primary school teachers were overlooked, and to be more specific, are the teachers who upgraded their skills. Now you can get that particular story on page 2 of the Daily Nation. And just before we look at what is making headlines in the news this particular morning, on page 18 they look at the South African elections. Remember last week before it signed out on was it on Thursday? On Wednesday rather? South Africans were going to the polls, and the ANC party, that is the ruling party in South Africa, was facing major competition, or one of its toughest elections ever, because it was the most competitive in at least 30 years, because for the past 30 years or so, the ANC has enjoyed overwhelming support. But this time round, it was a bit different. They failed to garner the 50% mark, and therefore, that means they will be ruling to have, they'll be, of course, they're going to have a pact with one of the parties in order to form government, whether it will be the party led by former President Jacob Zuma, or DA, that is the Democratic Alliance led by John Stielo's son, or the EFF led by Julius Selo Malema, the Economic Freedom Fighters Party. We'll of course be waiting to see what the ANC will decide, and as ANC have said, they will stick with Cyril Ramaphosa. That will be, of course, a story that will be following up for you. Now, on the back page, finally, they talk about resilient Kenya back in the World Series. Remember, Kenya was relegated from the HSBC 7 Series, but yesterday they did secure their place in the 2025 HSBC 7 Series, after seeing off Germany 33-15 in Spain. And they say after a full start, Captain Onyala sets Shuja on path to famous victory as the team scores 5 tries and 4 conversions against German opponents. Remember, they lost the first game against Samoa in what, sort of threw their ambitions to be in the 2025 HSBC 7 Series into jeopardy, but they rallied back and eventually secured their place. Remember, CS4 Sports, Babu Namamba was in Spain to support the lads, as well as the chairperson of Kenya Rugby Union, that is Sasha Mutai, and he said there are no shortcuts in high performance setup, and I thank the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, the government, and Sport Pesa for the support they have accorded the team. It is very, very refreshing, because having the team back adds some spice to the HSBC 7s, especially Kenya being a winner in one of the series that was in Singapore, I believe, in 2016. Now, with that, we wrap up the newspaper highlights this particular morning. We'll be back with what's making headlines in the news. Don't go away. Now, let's have a look at what's making headlines in the news. And President William RUTO has pledged to fulfill promises to improve agricultural sector in the country, noting that farmers have contributed significantly to the nation's economy. Now, speaking in Bungoma County, RUTO emphasized on assisting farmers nationwide, urging them to continue using the subsidized fertilizer to increase food production.
For the second day in Bungoma County after the Madaraka Day celebrations, President William RUTO has pledged to prioritize the agricultural sector to improve the country's economy.
Tuko na kazi ya barabara, tuko na kazi ya maji, tuko na kazi ya stima, tuko na program ya housing, tuko na program ya kilimo, tuko na program kubwa ya kubadilisha Kenya. Let us focus our energy. Let us focus our attention in the transformation of Kenya, not in the division.
Also, RUTO mentioned continuing with the affordable housing plan in Bungoma County to preserve part of the farmlands used by farmers in food production.
Leo mimi naenda Korea kwa sababu ya mambo matatu. Nilikuwa Korea mwaka uliopita, tukakubaliana na rais wa kule ya kwamba tunataka kuunganisha university yetu pale ya iko Athi River na university yao, na wametupatia pesa bilioni 40 ya vijana katika creative economy, na hiyo pesa ndio naendea, ndio vijana wetu tuwasukume katika creative economy. Muliona nilitembelea.
RUTO has also promised multi-billion deals including 25 billion Kenyan shillings for water plant projects, 10,000 overseas jobs and a 40 billion pact with the Korean government to fund and support youths in the country.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba tukienda kule bado tutapanua mambo yetu ya kilimo na mambo yetu ya ajira. Tumekamilisha, wakati nilikutana na rais tulianza kupanga mambo ya export ya vijana wetu wapate ajira kule Korea. So tunaenda kuweka sahihi ndio vijana 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 waende wafanye kazi, watuletee madola, tujenge Kenya.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
Now, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi has underscored high electricity rates and debts as a major reason for the decline of the sugar companies in the western region. Speaking in Kakamega, Mudavadi said there is need for parliamentary legislation in restoring sugar companies.
Addressing the press in Kakamega County, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi proposed that the parliament should reduce or waive debts and allocate funds to enable the restoration of sugar companies.
Tukitaka kufanya restructuring katika sekta ya sukari na kuangalia factories zetu, ni lazima tuhakikishe kwamba yale madeni yamepunguzwa ama yamefutiliwa mbali. Sasa pesa zikitoka tena kupitia kwa uwezo wa bunge, ndio treasury itoe pesa za kuhakikisha kwamba mashini mpya zitapatikana. Na hatimaye tukienda mbele, lazima tufanye juhudi tuhakikishe kwamba nguvu za umeme zinapatikana kwa bei nafuu, kwa sababu baadhi ya yale madeni ambayo yanasumbua viwanda vyetu katika taifa letu la Kenya ni the high cost of energy.
The CS has also called on Kenyans to support opposition leader Raila Odinga in his bid for the chairperson position of the African Union Commission, AUC, urging the nation to do away with past controversies, look ahead and protect the nation's interests.
Hauwezi ukakuwa candidate kwa cheo hicho kama serikali yako ama serikali ya taifa lako haikupatii idhini. Sasa mimi nataka Wakenya wajaribu kufahamu, kwa sababu ya interest ya kitaifa, national interest, tuweke jina ama candidature ya mwenzetu Raila Odinga katika cheo kama hicho.
Championing the slogan, Unity is Strength, Mudavadi noted that a merger between the ANC party and the UDA party is a decision aimed for progress.
Unity is strength. And unity can take different forms. Inaweza kuwa through coalition ama inaweza kuwa through merger. Alafu tunajenga uzito. Kwa hivyo nikiambia watu kwamba ANC ina mazungumzo ya merger, msifikiri ni kitu kidogo.
Sonia Njeri, Look Up Lookuptv.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has vowed to continue reaching out to all leaders in Mount Kenya for the sake of unity. Speaking during a church service in Buri constituency, Meru County, the DP noted that the unity of the region is essential as it translates to development. Martin Masharia tells us more.
Speaking during a church service in Timau Catholic Church in Meru County, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua urged the Mount Kenya region to prioritize peace and unity for rapid development. Gachagua emphasized the importance of fostering a harmonious environment for the progress of the region.
Mimi nimekuwa nikiongea mambo ya amani sio katika mlima Kenya peke yake lakini katika Kenya kwa jumla. And the truth of the matter, we must agree, Kenya is made up of regions. And regions are made up of counties. For a region to be peaceful, for a region to be united, the counties must be united. If one in our region here, Mount Kenya, we have challenges of unity in Meru, we have challenges of unity in Kiambu, we have challenges of unity in Nakuru, then the region cannot be united. I have seen an argument yesterday, somebody arguing that for call of unity of our region, we can be isolated. Why would anybody isolate us of being united? Why? How can unity be a bad thing? Is unity a bad thing? Unity is a good thing. I don't think anybody can say because we are united, we should be isolated. I think that is very retrogressive talk.
In addition, Deputy President urged believers to pray for President William RUTO and extend their unwavering support to him as he leads the nation. Gachagua emphasized the need for collective backing in the governance of the country.
I, Rigathi Gachagua, was badly wounded before the election. I was humiliated. I was persecuted. I came into office a very bitter person. But through prayer, and I want to thank my wife, she prayed for me, and within 1 year, all the bitterness had gone. I was a healed person. I have forgiven anybody who may have wronged me, and I've asked anybody I wronged to forgive me. Is there anything wrong with us forgiving one another?
In addition, Deputy President urged believers to pray for President William RUTO and extend their unwavering support to him as he leads the nation. Gachagua emphasized the need for collective backing in the governance of the country.
Si ni kusema tu wa Kristo yetu tu ni kumtakia mema na kumwambia nyinyi muendelee kuombea taifa hili letu, kumuombea kiongozi wetu Dr. William RUTO apate hekima na ujasiri ya kutuongoza, kutatua zile shida ziko za kiuchumi na kuendesha Kenya mbele. Na sisi sote ni watu ya mkono ya Rais William RUTO, tunamsaidia kusukuma gurudumu la maendeleo.
Martin Masharia, Lookuptv.
Now, Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi has strongly slammed leaders who promote tribalism in the country. Speaking at Friends Church Amalamba in Kakamega County, Sudi stated that it is not right for the country to go back to the age of tribalism. He has called on Kenyans to elect leaders with a great record and not just along tribal lines.
Hii mambo ya ukabila tuache. Especially, wacha niwapatie mfano mzuri, especially watu wa Mount Kenya. Watu wa Mount Kenya sio watu wa Mount Kenya. Wakikuyu wako sehemu zote za Kenya. Na hiyo ndio mfano mzuri tunaopeana. Watu wa Mount Kenya ama Wakikuyu wanataka waitwe constituency yao ni Kenya. Sio hapa Mount Kenya, sijui sisi watu wa Mount Kenya, sijui sisi watu wa Western, hapana. Watu wenye wametuonesha mfano mzuri. Na nataka niwaambie leo, ukiona hata senta yenu haina Mkikuyu, ujue kuna shida. Kwa sababu hao Wakikuyu ni watu wa maajabu. Na hiyo ndio mfano mzuri ndio tuweke katika taifa la Kenya. Ukienda Lodwar utawapata. Ukienda Mombasa utawapata. Ukikuja Eldoret utawapata. Ukikuja hapa Kakamega utawapata. Si ni kweli jamani? Na ndio tunataka tushikane. Hii maneno ya kusema sisi ni watu wa Mount Kenya, sisi watu na mlima, hiyo maneno tuache. Wacha produce watu international kukuwa watu ya kona fulani. Tunataka Wakenya wote wajite wa Kenya.
Now, Garissa leaders have called on northern Kenyan counties to equally ban Maguka like the coastal counties. As Hussein Majid now reports, the leaders said the effects of Maguka were severe, especially among the youth.
Following the governors of Mombasa, Kilifi and Taita Taveta decision to ban Muguka in the region, leaders in the northeastern part are following suit, pushing for the ban of Muguka. Speaking in Modagashe, Garissa County, Lagdera MP Abdikadir Hussein said that the area is among the most affected by the bad use of Muguka, while noting that its damage to users is obvious with mental problems. He said that the debate on banning Muguka is a delicate matter which needs careful handling, noting that the region MPs will be the first to pass the bill to prevent strike when it's submitted to Parliament.
That za northeastern na pia coast. Makokai inafanya watu kwa zombie wasifanye kazi, inaharibu vijana. Ni kwa sababu kitu ambao unaweza kununua na shilingi 20, mtoto asubuhi akibama akimpea shilingi 20 anaenda kununua makoka. Kwa hivyo wana governor, I think that hiyo regulation ya makoka it will come under county government to regulate, ban it, kupeleka kotini.
On his part, the Dab MP Farah Maalim called young people to take action to fight Muguka, saying that they are most affected. He also called on farmers in Embu and Meru counties to plant alternative crops like tea and coffee, which are harmless.
Nataka niwaambie hii vijana mjitengeze kwa vigilante groups. We are not going to watch the destruction of our societies. We are not going to watch the destruction of the youth of this country. Kama mtu anataka fanya biashara ya drugs, na tunajua kulikuwa na magavana, kulikuwa na politicians, kulikuwa na kila mtu, mpaka leo kuna politicians wengi ambao wanajulikana, wengine wako kwa miraa, wako kwa kila kitu, wako kwa mambo ya drugs, wako kwa kila hiyo.
Majid Hussein, Lookuptv.
Now, a grade 7 girl at Omobondo School in Kisii County has mysteriously disappeared after she went home to allegedly pick a towel she had forgotten. Now, her parents say that she made it home but went missing just before going back to school.
Anxiety remains high for a Kisii family after their daughter's disappearance without a trace. According to her father, after leaving school, Marion Mogoi was spotted by a Good Samaritan in an argument with a motorist over fare and bailed her out. Afterwards, the Good Samaritan offered to accommodate her and called her father to pick her up the following day, which he did.
Huyo mwanafunzi anasoma Omobondo DEP. Sasa alitoka shuleni siku ya Jumamosi akiwa amechelewa, akafika junction, akapanda motorbike. In the process, mtu wa pikipiki akaanza kumsumbua hapo njia ya Getumu. Kuna msamaria mwema alimpata, akamwambia simama, akamsaidia, akamlipia pikipiki. Huyo mtu alikuwa anamuitisha 200 na alikuwa na 100. Sasa huyo msamaria mwema akamwambia sasa uende na huyu mtoto. Akampeleka kwake akarara, wakanipigia simu asubuhi, nikaenda nikamchukua.
On the 28th of May, Marion's mother was said to accompany her back to school before she mysteriously disappeared. Her mother then proceeded to school, only to be informed that she did not report to school.
Sasa ikafika Jumanne, mwanafunzi arudi shule, mama yake akaoga, akaenda kufaa nguo. Sasa kutoka nje aenda kuona kama mtoto na yeye ameoga, akapata mtoto ameweka maji nje, ametoroka.
Mtoto amenipotelea tangu Saturday, lakini mwalimu mwenye nimepata ambaye ni deputy ananiambia hata nikiweka kwa media ati mtoto wangu amepotea. Kuna wengi wamepotea na hawajapatikana.
Marion's family is now appealing to anyone with information about their daughter to contact any police station near them. The last time she was seen, Marion was in a red t-shirt with white inscriptions on the chest, black jeans trouser and a school bag.
Ya mwisho kutoka hapa alikuwa amevalia t-shirt ya red, mbele imeandikwa na maandishi ya white na jeans ya black, na alikuwa na bagi ya shule ya black. Nywele hakuwa ameshuka, amenyolea.
Beatrice Ndanu, Lookuptv.
Well, that was, of course, the news making headlines this particular morning. But at this moment in time, we take a brief breather. We'll be back to have a conversation surrounding, whatever is happening within the ruling party. A few weeks ago, we were talking about the, row between the DP and some of the key allies of the president or confidants of the president, including Oscar Sudi. But it is now clear that the president has come out, guns blazing as well, and in what we don't to say, supporting the likes of Oscar Sudi. What he said yesterday in Bungoma County is anything to go by. That will be after this break. Don't go away.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Watu wangu wa Baringo Chamuge, tuko katika mji wa Kabarnet na yote ni kwa hisani ya RUTO Foundation. Madhumuni yetu leo ni kuhakikisha kwamba kuna watoto watapata tabasamu kwenye nyuso zao, na wewe ndio umefanikisha.
Mimi naitwa Mary Sang, Director Sunrise Children's Home. Nataka kuchukua nafasi kushukuru RUTO Foundation kwa kuweza kututembelea siku ya leo na kuweza kutusaidia na chakula. Tulikuwa tumepungukiwa na chakula na sasa tunasema asante sana kwa kutembelea sisi na kuweza kutuletea chakula.
Asante sana RUTO Foundation.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the walls and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup. Kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mali.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Funga kidemu.
Again, and thank you very much for joining us. This is the morning drift, and of course, in case you're joining us at this particular moment in time, is that of course the big conversation will be the political happenings here in the country, and more specifically this part between the president and his deputy, that is Rigathi Gachagua. Now, a few weeks ago, with the same panelist, Mr. Agalo, Ms. Soma here, and of course, Mr. Mungai, we were talking about then this part between Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi in Uasin Gishu County, the backyard of President William Samoei Ruto. And in fact, then the Deputy President told off Oscar Sudi, the Kapseret MP, who is a close confidant of President William Ruto, not to be roaming around constituencies or across the country. He should stay in his constituency and do the mandate that the people of Kapseret gave him. Now, in a seemingly, what we want to say, a turn of events, there has been exchange of words, sort of, between the president and the deputy, or contradiction, if you don't want to say that, because yesterday the president seemed to be supporting Oscar Sudi in that particular row of words between him and the deputy president then in Uasin Gishu County, because the president said those legislators who were voted in should not only stay in their constituencies, but again traverse across the country, like as they wish, rather. Now, apart from that, the president has been talking about issues, tribal-based politics, and talking about regions and all that. Now, the president, the DP has been one of the main protagonists in championing for the mantra of the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. And then, like I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about that particular mantra and what it means for the Mount Kenya region. Now, the president seemed to be, pouring cold water on that. But yesterday in Meru County, the DP seemed to remain adamant, or rather remained adamant or defiant, and insisted that he will champion for the unity of the region. Well, that again shows, some sort of differences between President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua. Now, this particular morning, joining me to, of course, have a conversation in regards to what is happening within the ruling party is Mr. Eric Ragala. Very good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Habari ya masiku.
Salama sana.
I'm happy. We are here today in the morning, and I would want to greet all our viewers and tell them to always look up and around on the happenings of this country and the world. So look up on everything. Look up on business, make sure your business goes well. Look up on social issues, make sure you live in a very comfortable society where your brains are stable. Look up on political issues so that politics actually drive everything. And that's why we are seated on Lookuptv, because our function is to look up and ensure we are all put up into looking ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
you very much, Mr. Gallo. I was waiting because I was just about to say, as you look up, on all that, you should also be on Lookuptv. But just like you said, thank you very much for having us this particular morning. Ms. Ajoy Somahiri, a very good morning to you.
Morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I remember the last time, just before you speak, remember the last time I was here, you were boasting about how, Arsenal did win against Manchester United. I've not forgotten. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this moment, and I'm waiting to hear from you now. Now that you bottled the leg and United ended up winning the FA Cup, and like always, you guys went home trophyless, unlike Manchester United.
The enemies of development that day were working full time, and the gods of the trophy had not brought in trophy number 2. But come next season, I think we'll have a trophy for number 2 and number 1, so that at least all that effort does not go to waste.
But our programming guy would say Arsenal is just the same as, you want to call them next season FC. I know he's laughing wherever he is at the moment.
I'm avoiding that emotive discussion because, it will make me jump out of my seat. This week again, it has been a blessing. Real Madrid hit the house. We are winners in Real Madrid. That was on Saturday. We celebrated straight to yesterday. And I think I want to wish the Lookuptv viewers a very great new month of June, full of blessings, full of more openings. As we celebrate the Real Madrid's success, I wish I know how to speak Spanish. I would have hit the language, but again, time will tell. As we celebrate again this new month of June, I'm not happy with the Taga group, because I do not know why Uhuru Muigai brought in this word. I think the wisdom of the Mount Kenya leaders is on another level. Because 6 years down the line, he mentioned the Taga group. And today we are literally seeing the Taga government. So thank you so much. I want to loop into that discussion later. Karibu sana.
I don't know who you're referring to when you say Tanga. Because by then the leader of Tanga was President William Ruto. Now, who's the leader as we speak?
I'll graphically give you that answer on the scheduled discussion.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Gallo, to begin with you, yes. A couple of weeks ago you were here and we were talking about the spark between the DP and Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi then, and many wanted to attribute the sentiments of the DP to be that of the president. Now, it is coming out clearly that the president is in support of Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi because of what he said yesterday. But even before we get into that, there's a seeming there's some sort of a simmering row between the president and his deputy, because they look like guys were reading from different scripts. Are you of the same opinion?
I'm not of the same opinion. It's barely 2 years. Actually, it's not even 2 years yet since the Tanga group got to be in the government. And as it is said, they were walking all over. They were Tangaing. What will stop them from Tangaing? It's very hard. So the deputy the other week was in Kalenjin Nation specifically, and he communicated to an effect that he was telling Oscar Sudi to stay in his constituency and stop troubling KSS MP, who is called RUTO.
Yes.
And it didn't go well with Kapseret MP. He who went and made a lot of noise and asked for heshima. But now, over this weekend, we saw William Ruto supporting Kapseret MP. And the name Tanga came back, and it's loudly written on Nation newspaper. So the question is, what is this Tanga? If you ask me, I will tell you, the DP never leaves the country with the president and has never left the country with the president. I want us to think of a day the DP went with the president in the same plane to a certain place in the country. I have not even a day.
Yeah.
The president always lives with Musalia Mudavadi. Always. When I say always, I think, is it yesterday or today he's leaving for South Korea?
He left yesterday in the evening.
Is Musalia in the country?
No.
Where is Gachagua?
In the country.
So who is Gachagua in the country?
But
he is the deputy president. He should go everywhere in the country. When President Ruto was called Tangatanga, he said, that is my function, to ensure any government project that is under our government, then Jubilee government, I go and check. If it's not done, I go tell the president.
But probably in the instance of Musalia Mudavadi, it's probably because he's also the CS for Foreign Affairs.
No. This is politics. You could put it as that, I would agree. He's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's also actually the Chief Minister.
Yeah.
Okay. He should be traveling the president, I agree. But in political echelon, you can see the Luya nation being enticed to an effect that Bungoma becomes a city before Kakamega, which is bigger than the other, which is of more economical. Do you know that will bring the difference now in that region? Dividing the Bukusu against other communities in the Luya nation. Don't you see that? The old Masinde Muliro, when he was alive, he put it an effect that Kakamega was still the capital city of
the Western region.
So when you put a city in Bungoma, what does that mean? Bungoma becomes #1 town in the whole of Western region. That means development in Bungoma, even open development will go to Bungoma than any other part. That means now Bungoma frog jumps, leaps over Kakamega. So what will happen with the people in Kakamega side, here under Kakamega County, the Buteres, the Isuhas, the Idahos, and all that? They'll feel cut. So this is going to be a supremacy battle between the Bukusus and others. Does that mean Ruto want to run away with Bukusu? Yes. In expense of others? Yes. Why? To capitalize and cover in the loss of Mount Kenya. Because Mount Kenya loss is imminent as it is happening. Tell you the truth, right now we go to election, Ruto will still win Mount Kenya, but not with the same votes. If election was to be done today, Ruto will still win Mount Kenya, but he will lose so much votes. So where is the number that he can get? Is from Bungoma. And the same politics is playing now to play the Kenya vis-a-vis drugs. Okay? The Meru issue and the Embu issue of Miraa and the coast issue. All the 4 counties in the coast have banned Miraa. Why? Miraa is bad. I mean, let's be honest with one another. I'm not talking as a politician or a political analyst. I'm just talking now as a human being who understands even medicine. The cathinone and the cathode in Miraa, what does it do to the human body? If Miraa is good, then Miraa should be open in America. It should be open in Tanzania. It should be eaten all over the world. Why is it a narcotic in other countries, but a food to be taken as a beverage in Kenya? So if that comes, now, again, because of Mount Kenya politics, you tell the governors in Mount Kenya, you guys can sell Miraa. And I have quashed what the governors had done. Not forgetting all these counties are now autonomous. They can create their own rules and laws and block. Now, the president has quashed. Now you want to see how politics works? Now they say that you will not bring. So what will the president do? I want to see how the president will take Miraa to coast by force. The Miraa cannot enter coast. Kwale says now, Miraa can come to coast, but a 10 kg of Miraa costs 300,000 to enter. So how will you do it? Let me tell you, it is all politics. But the big thing is, who will laugh here? Very easy. Gachagua,
kubali umetolewa, enda ushikane na Kalonzo, tengenezi the real Gemma plus Akamba in it, shikaneni na baba, mutashinda Ruto. Very easy. Very easy.
Fair enough.
But you know, Gachagua is still playing dilly-dally. Ukisha ngolewa ngoka, people will follow you. Gachagua kitoka sasa mimi nitamfuata. Yes.
Wow. Miss Joyce, I don't know whether you support Mr. Ragalo in terms of Gachagua accepting that his battle is already his goose is cooked, rather, in terms of his relationship with the president and him being part of the United Democratic Alliance, which is the ruling party. What do you make of the entire circus which we're witnessing at the moment?
Gachagua's goose and geese were cooked immediately on assumption of office. It's not being cooked now. And he started stepping in people's toes long time ago, even before we came to this year, to the month of May or even April. But even before I delve into that, what is the Swahili meaning, what is the English meaning of taga taga? If you break it down into the proper English, these are unplanned movements.
Jaywalkers.
Yeah, these are unplanned movements. These are divisive movements. These are uncoordinated movements.
Just roaming around.
Roaming around.
Uncouth movement.
Uncouth movement. And anything that starts with UN and. So when the president requests that members of his party to do the taga-taga business, then we're in trouble for very basic issues. Protocol dictates, Ragaro, that when I come to visit your office, I start with the reception. I do not just go to the boardroom. There must be protocol and procedure when you want to articulate on issues. That if I need to visit CIA, as a government officer, I'll need to deal with the protocols in terms of visiting that place, so that again I do not overstep on my mandates. I'm finding it awkward if today I was to enter in an office and you find me at the accountant's office. That's a security threat. I'm finding myself in a funny situation whereby, as the member of parliament from, say, Kinagop, you find visitors from Bugoma County in the NCDF offices. I don't know whether we are communicating. So when we start ordering MPs to start moving around, you will be stepping on people's toes. You'll be coming to my region and discuss issues that do not relate to my region. You'll be coming to my region to discuss divisive politics. Is this what we are defining as taga-taga? Is this what the head of the Kenya Kwanza leadership is requesting members from his Kenya Kwanza government to go to other regions to deal with? Are we going to request members of the Kenya Kwanza movement to use uncouth methods to visit other regions? If between me and Ragaro we are fighting, how do you expect my fellow followers from my region to receive Ragaro? He'll be fought with his stones. So are you trying to tell the Kenyans that is the leadership of Kenya Kwanza government asking Kenyans to allow other leaders from other regions to visit? Because from this week, if the headlines of the daily newspaper is what people will take to the bank, then I'm telling you, it will be chaotic all over.
But let me ask you, what is the problem with, for example, the MP for Dagoretti, South going to, Kipkelion in Kericho?
There's nothing wrong, but Kaidri, use protocol. Pick a call. The MP for Kipkelion, tomorrow I'm coming to your region. Why are you coming to my region? Are you coming to initiate a project in my region?
Yes.
Just before, allow me to stop you on that. So, some time back, like the early week of April, Susan Nahomincha, I want to mention names here, went and opened a hospital in Transmara. What happened on that morning? She was literally ejected. By who? None other than the governor of Transmara. Trans-Nzoia, sorry. Why? Health is a devolved function. Sorry. What business was The CL's Health, 1 minute. What business was the CL's Health going to do at Trans Nzoia dealing with a devolved function, which the governor himself
could have done,
could have done? So what we're doing is we'll be overstepping on other people's muddies and toes. And it will be a precursor for heat and war.
I will agree with her.
Even as you respond, Mr. Regalo, even as you respond, I just want to ask you one thing. So, if at all, for example, the issue between CPA RUTO, the MP for Keses, and Oscar Sudi, the MP for Kapseret, then they were in the same function at that particular moment in time. Meaning, CPA RUTO knew Oscar Sudi was there, but then what caused all that, Millie, was the utterances by Oscar Sudi. You can respond, but if they have, if they've told the host MP that they'll be there, is it big of an issue?
Let me tell you, if you're you asked a very nice question. If you're the MP Dagoretti, let me give a Dagoretti South, the one that you've used, and is to go to Nyando. He's not supposed to go to Nyando.
Why?
Because it's not his jurisdiction. And if he has to go to Nyando, he has to call Nyando MP and tell, I have been invited for prayers in a certain place in Nyando on this and this day, prior to, so that the MP could come with you. If the MP is not there, could send a representative at a PAYMP.
That's leadership.
That's leadership. You don't just cross to somebody's jurisdiction. OCPD Nairobi cannot go rule in
OCPD
Nakuru or in Kiambu.
True.
Okay? When our chief died somewhere in Pokot, we asked, where was the command of Eldoret?
Yes.
In that area? How did the chief go to that area without the command of Eldoret being in that area? There was a lot of wrong. That was a lot of wrong. Because the chief in Eldoret should have waited for him, cleared the way, did reke, we call it reke, make sure that everything that he was going to do was all planned well. Here he went without. That was wrong. Why am I saying that? If Sudi was to go to Keses to go and do Harambe, he's being called to a church, he needs to inform the area MP. The area MP will also come to the Harambe to also contribute something. It is his place.
They were both there.
I'm giving an example. It is his place. But who is supposed to be chief of ceremony?
The area MP.
The area MP is the one who is the chief ceremony to agree with the MP of another place. I will invite you. The other protocol which is wrong, if whoever is inviting Sudi to Keses is doing a wrong thing, they should invite Sudi through the MP. Or if Sudi is invited, goes back to the MP, I've been invited. So the invite comes back to the MP. We cannot run away of protocol unless we want just to create war.
True.
Unless we just want to create. So the thing is, the honesty thing is, the deputy president is the deputy president of Kenya. He can go to any place. Calling him Tanga Tanga is now outright war again.
Yes.
Because he's not a deputy president of Kiambu County.
No.
I mean, he's a deputy president of Siaya, where I come from. If he comes to Siaya Boro Division, where I come from, he is welcome. But even if he's a deputy president coming to Siaya, he has to talk to Alego Usonga MP. And Alego Usonga MP must talk to the governor. Governor must talk to MCA. And all the protocol observed must come to receive the deputy. Then the other thing is, you are an MP, you are rapping to the deputy who has given you command and power to rap to the deputy.
To your senior.
Another wrong. Sudi is wrong. The deputy is your senior, is actually your employer. Of course, your employer is the people.
But now the president is sort of supporting Oscar Sudi.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why we are talking of wrongs.
Wrongs.
Even RUTO had his wrongs and Uhuru had his wrongs. Then we were talking about their wrongs. Oscar Sudi, when the deputy talks about wachene kutoka kwingine winge kwingine, you should not talk back. This is your... That's the end of it. And if you're supposed to talk it, you're supposed to talk it in a room somewhere, muonge muskizane. Lakini you don't go answering him in another public baraza. Tuheshimiane bwana, wewe ni mkabila, wacha ukabila. Now you're calling the deputy mkabila when you're talking your own language ya kikabila.
It's not kabila by then.
Yamune what are you saying?
Fair enough.
You know what?
I don't mean to add.
Fair enough. Because, okay, Yolabi, just after that, we'll listen to what the president had to say yesterday about that issue.
I don't mean to say this. Why do we have, look at this script that was happened of the young man who fought the police officer.
Yes.
We have raised our emotions for very petty issues because of undermining each other.
Yes.
If that young man had not undermined the office of the police officer, he would not have crobbered the police officer. We have Oscar Sudi undermining the office of the deputy president. What is happening with the Taga, we are creating a culture of undermining offices. I come from Kinagop. I reside in Kebu. And there must be protocols which must be observed. So when you allow your MPs, tell them to Taga, literally. Even to Didinyoro, you are undermining the leadership of this country. Why do you move from Kiharu to go to Espokot? What business do you, have you changed tribes? 1 minute. Have you changed the tribes? We have seen Didinyoro crisscrossing 47 counties. Who has given him this authority? So Oscar Sudi is not, 1 minute, Oscar Sudi is not alone in terms of undermining leadership. These are instructions that come from another senior head. Let us undermine, let us literally taga, and step on people's toe and undermine everybody. Because we wanted to put our interests first. Undermining in leadership is wrong. If you look at,
you talked about Ndindi Nyoro. If you look at, the visits by Ndindi Nyoro, he's always invited by the area MPs. And in fact, if you look at even the posters that are, sent out to the media, it always includes the area MP or area woman representative. Because yesterday he was in Samburu County and he was, of course, invited by the woman representative, Pauline Lengures. So from where I sit, I feel like for Ndindi Nyoro, it's okay because, like you guys said, it is okay to,
get invited.
Alert. Yes, get invited or alert. Even if you're not invited, alert to the area MP. So I don't see any problem with what Ndindi Nyoro is doing.
Some of them, this is a PR activity, my brother. Some of these, why were some of his visits cancelled? Because several of his visits have been cancelled. Because you feel he is coming now to outchain you as the local leader. Because this was only scheduled, but before when some of them were not unmarked, there used to be a lot of clashes because you want to come in and tell me you're in charge. Look at what happened at Muranga some time back. When they went for that funeral service, and he came with a million bob. And he had brought with him a retinue of MPs who are allied to his group. Then they heard that the deputy president has just entered his chopper en route where they were. Why did they disappear?
Yes.
If they were literally at the invitation, when you realized today I was coming to this show, why didn't you disappear? Because there was planning. No. So in essence, there is a lot of stepping on people's toes. And we should exhibit good leadership, which is not being exhibited by the Kenya Kwanza government, period.
Now, fair enough. I want us to listen to what the president had to say yesterday in regards to the mandate of MPs and, them being, allowed to move across the country to, traverse the country just on, grounds of them not being elected to represent only their constituents, but also for the sake of legislation and all that. We'll of course, talk more about that after we hear what the president had to say.
Sababu ya sisi kulete sherehe hii ya kitaifa hapa Bungoma ni kwa sababu tunataka kuunganisha Kenya. Sababu yetu ya kusambaza maendeleo kila sehemu ya Kenya ni kwa sababu tunatafuta umoja. Na mimi nataka nieleze viongozi hasa wabunge. Kwa katiba, kazi ya bunge ama kazi ya mbunge ni kazi mara tatu. Kazi ya kwanza ni uwakilishi, representation. Hapo ndio unapeleka hoja ya watu wako. Sababu ya sisi kulete sherehe hii ya kitaifa hapa Bungoma ni kwa sababu tunataka kuunganisha Kenya. Sababu yetu ya kusambaza maendeleo kila sehemu ya Kenya ni kwa sababu tunatafuta umoja. Na mimi nataka nieleze viongozi, hasa wabunge. Kwa katiba, kazi ya bunge ama kazi ya mbunge ni kazi mara tatu. Kazi ya kwanza ni uwakilishi, representation. Hapo ndio unapeleka hoja ya watu wako serikalini na bunge. So your job of representation is about your constituency. Ile kazi ingine mbili imebaki is not about your constituency. It is about the nation of Kenya. Hiyo kazi ingine mbili ya oversight na kazi hiyo ingine ya legislation inafanywa katika bunge la kitaifa. Na ile bunge is not a village parliament. Sio bunge la kijiji, ni bunge la kitaifa. It is not called, it's not a village assembly. It is the National Assembly of Kenya. So, members of parliament, you should know that you have a duty to your constituency through representation, but you also have a duty to the nation because of your legislative assignment and because of your oversight responsibility. And it is upon you as a member of parliament to represent your people of your constituency. But you also have an extra duty of legislating for Kenya, of providing oversight for Kenya. And if you want to understand those two roles, you cannot live in your constituency and understand those other roles. You have to get out of your constituency, go to the next place, understand Kenya, so that as you legislate in parliament, you understand your country. So that as you play your oversight role, whether it is a project in which county or which county, you have an understanding of what it is. I want to encourage you, as members of parliament, to represent your constituencies effectively, but to also move around Kenya so that you understand and discharge your responsibilities better of oversight and of legislation as you do it for the people of Kenya equally.
Well, you've heard the president there, and he's talking about the three functions of a member of parliament, and he's talking about members of parliament being allowed, and he's okaying literally MPs to roam across the country. Now, I want to talk to ask you, beginning with you, Mr. Ragao. The president is telling MPs you have the right to oversight and move across the country.
Yes.
What role in terms of oversight does an MP, for example, of Kasarani, have to oversight something in Ruiru, something in Elgeyo Marakwet?
He has said very well. Before even I go to that, I want to communicate to the dressers of the president that the second button from the neck was not there. And it's wrong. It's wrong for the president to miss a button. So that was also a protocol issue. Mwenye amvalisha anafaa kufutwa nipewe hiyo kazi. Me, I'll show a button anytime, must be there. And that was a small one. Now, the function of the member of parliament, he has basically put it nicely: 3. Representation. Representation is in Article 1. Okay, that power is in the people, but the people have given their power to this person to do their work. And their work is to make sure he gives us good legislation in parliament and ensure that he covers the wrongs that are happening in the country to ensure that everything is right. So basically, oversight of this person is actually in parliament, national oversight. National oversight is what we are doing right now with the bill. I'm expecting these MPs to be teaching people about the bill so that people understand what the bill is. And in that oversight, these guys, when they go to parliament, what is not good in the bill is squashed, what is good we take. But you cannot, the other function of a senator is oversighting the county. And if it is oversighting the county, then, brother, then anything that is done in the county should be under the senator. And oversight is also done by the controller of budget, who is oversighting the use and misuse of public funds. There is nowhere an MP is supposed to go and oversight another person's constituency. That is not in their mandate. Unless now we are opening doors for MPs to be crossing in another MP's area and just undermining them. I refuse that. And if it is oversight, then I want to oversight and ask, how on earth did the state blow 18 billion on travel in 9 months despite austerity? This is in People's Daily, in Business Daily. Business Daily, page 1. State blows 18 billion on travel in 9 months. When you do that calculation, actually the real number is 18.18. In real number then, the government is blowing 3 billion per month. 9 divided by 18 is 3. Amani ngapi? Is 2. So we are blowing 2 billion per month. 2.3 something billion per month in travel. So you imagine that amount. So if that is not oversight, and this oversight was done by who? Control of budget. In Parliament, do we have the Budget Appropriation Committee?
Yes.
Yes. Do they even have these numbers?
No.
But you have them being told you can oversight in another person's constituency. And your work is national, not constituency by constituency. National. So they should be aware of what is happening in the government, asking the government this and this. Long time ago, and this is some time why I used to support, I supported the implementation of BBI, because BBI was bringing back the shadow cabinet. Although, of course, some people just decided to make it go. The BBI was bringing shadow cabinet. In time like that, you would remember the shadow cabinet will come and make noise on this. So who is supposed to make noise? Now it is in the paper that we are blowing 2 billion per month on travel alone. So who is supposed to make noise here? If Raila speaks, Raila anaharibu serikali. So Raila keep quiet. If an MP speaks, MP is being to be muzzled. But we can allow an MP of Kasarani to go to Ruiru and ask in Ruiru, why don't we have a culvert here? So MP Ruiru now will leave also Ruiru, go to Kapseret and ask, why did you not cut grass here? I'm just giving a very shallow thing that anybody can do. Then the MP Kapseret will leave and go to West Pokot and ask in West Pokot, why is that classroom mud touched? Grass touched and not mabati. Is that what you want to do? It will be total chaos. People in those constituencies can also oversight their things and can ask their MP questions. The thing is, honestly here, there is just mismanagement in this country.
Yes.
To an extent, we're not even managing our own kids. A kid can go and hit a policeman like that? On uniform? What is that? I don't know what a policeman did to this young guy. Maybe the policeman is wrong and can be even more wrong than even this guy. But the action of hitting the other person is even worse on uniform. Now, 1 + 1 becomes 0. Both could be wrong, but the worst person is the guy who retaliated and hit the policeman. Is that what you want to do? Now, the first wrong is now Oscar Sudi has gone to Chokozana Keses. So MP Keses now aende achokozana sasa kwa Oscar Sudi. Is that what we are looking at?
No. Coming to Ms. Omahiu.
Yes.
But one thing,
the deputy president must be respected.
Yes.
Hapo hatutadanganyana. Leo niko pande ya Gachagua. And I'm telling you, those guys must just keep off. Gachagua afanye kazi yake. Waache kuonyesha huyu jamaa madharau. He was a pain on us. Watu wa Azimio. Aliniumiza sana roho. Ile wakati alikuwa anatukana Raila huku anamuita majina, aliniumiza. But when Gachagua is doing his job, wachaneni na mtu. Hiyo ilikuwa siasa. Wachana na Gachagua afanye kazi yake. Na mkimupiga, Eric will defend Gachagua. Because I can't see any wrong Gachagua has done. What has Gachagua done today to be put in this muddy and yucky thing? Gachagua amefanya makosa kukwambia bosa Sudi usikuje cases. What is his function then, if not to check some of these guys?
Okay, fair enough. I'll come back to in regards to the deputy president and you know, the harassment and the disrespect and all that. But coming to Joyce, because you talked about Ndindi Nyoro. Now, there are two things here.
Yeah.
There's the issue of tanga in courts, like you say, and there's the issue of ambition. Because we all know, each politician has, you know, they have ambitions. And it is now more than clear that Ndindi Nyoro himself is, you know, has his eyes on, probably the eyes on the hill. Now, if you know, the sentiments of the DP is anything to go by, is in a way also trying to limit Ndindi Nyoro?
A man who is not ambitious is nearer the graveyard.
He's actually dead.
He's actually dead. So even you right now, you are ambitious. Any person who is breathing must be ambitious. But over ambitious is poisonous. Let us not be over ambitious. Because when you are over ambitious, again, you'll go crisscrossing where you are not even supposed to go to cross. My grandmother used to tell me that even the madman has his relatives. You may be mad, but if I slapped you hard, your relatives will come to reiterate. When you crisscross those areas, the leadership of those areas will be seen like you are coming to hit on their son. To Ndindi Nyoro, do you need votes in Nyeri County? Do you need votes in Nyeri County? When you banish that son of from Madeira, as of ambitious as you are, do you need votes from Madeira area? Because if ambition was defined into locations, then would say yes, Ndindi Nyoro is good for you to be ambitious. But if you're ambitious and you need holistic votes that touches on all regions, then you'll be doing yourself injustice. Before I go to Ndindi Nyoro, and something escapes my mind, my brother Agaro here brought issues of oversighting. And I wanted to bring to your attention, that oversighting is constitutional. There are constitutional bodies that are supposed to oversight different groups. The dressers of President RUTO, mulimfanya jana akasirike. So because he also realized he did not have the second button, he decided now to draw the attention now to something else. When you tell members of parliament to go and oversight, in essence, you are misleading Kenyans. Kenyans know which constitutional groups which are mandated to supervise and oversight which groups. So on that one, Mr. President, you are wrong.
In fact, an example is senators, because senators are mandated to oversight their respective counties.
This is it. Yes. So you cannot tell me that also my senator from Nyandarua to go and oversight Senator, I mean Nairobi. You'll be overstepping. Because it will literally bring in a lot of acrimony. So in essence, even some of the statements that are being made by state officers, they are wrong. Why did this young man fight the police officer? I'm not here to defend the young man. I'll call it superior wrongs. People who stand in positions of power, they have the power in their hands and they abuse their power. This young man did not wake up in the morning and plan to go and fight the police officer. Somebody must have started that discussion. That discussion did not go the way it was supposed to be. When the president tells us that the MPs can go to oversight in other constituencies, then that is a superior wrong. And everybody can see that. So when the young man realize this police officer, what he wanted from this police officer was not listening and reasoning. Because we have two sentences here. We have two statements. Reasoning and reasoning. This officer, police officer, did not listen to what the young man said, wanted. And that is why there was the blows that were taken. Today, we have senior state officers who are doing superior wrongs, including lying to the Kenyans that the MPs can go and oversight. 1 minute. So this is a statement that is cutting across this country. You wake up today in the morning, you write to the Kenyans what they are supposed to do, and they can reason and think. Yenye hapo unandaganya. So if you try to resonate this other person and the person is not willing, what do you expect, Ragaro? You expect a lot of bros. So we are creating this country in an emotive situation, an emotive discussion. And that should not be the leadership status that we should have. Let everybody play his own, stay on his own lane. Oscar Sudi, kaa kwako. Do you want to tell me that all issues in Oscar Sudi's area have been dealt with in total?
Now you can go elsewhere.
In fact, so that you cannot move, you cannot go and assist the MP from Kinago because zako zote umemaliza.
In fact, one of the things that the president talked about was oversight, and he talked about legislation. Which happens in the National Assembly. Look at Oscar Sudi himself said, mimi mtaniona bunge. I don't come to bunge. As you take tea, mimi I don't come. I go make deals outside the countries, Tanzania, elsewhere. So the mandate that he has or has been given by the people to legislate, who is doing it on his behalf?
He's actually doing his electorate injustice. I wish I have a friend in that constituency. I would recall that MP because he's failing in his mandate. What is the mandate? What was he mandated by the members of his constituency?
Okay.
3 assignments only. So if he's retired dealing on one, don't you think there's inadequacy in the representation? There's a lot of inadequacy. So in essence, Kaidre people, let them stick to their ends.
Okay.
Do what you can in your area. There are so many MPs today who are not talkative, who are not all over in this country, but they are doing great in their constituencies. Hakuna wakati tutamaliza our own core mandates that we've been mandated by our citizens. So when you go to other regions now to tell people what to do, in essence, you are abusing them.
Okay, fair enough. I want us to come back to the issue of the deputy president, and coming to you, Mr. Ragalo, on the standard this morning, they're talking about our allies of the DPs claim that he was denied a military chopper to go for the Madaraka Day celebrations in Kandui constituency, Bungoma County, specifically at the Masinde Muliro Stadium. Now, the president, just months or weeks after taking over office, said he will not allow his deputy to be harassed or to be mistreated. Now, they're saying this is the third time, because a couple of weeks ago when the DP had issues, and in fact when he was having an issue with the Kapseret MP Kasudi, the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kaiga, talked about how the DP was denied, military chopper to attend certain events because there was concerns over his, absentia or absence in some of the state functions attended by the president. Now, if that is true, that indeed he was denied military chopper, I mean, what does it show? Is the DP being treated as just a mere politician because the CS for Defense says we cannot give military choppers to politicians?
He said that on Citizen TV.
Yes. Is the deputy president a mere politician, or is he part of the presidency?
Deputy president is a politician. Deputy president is a state officer. Those are two people. We are talking of the deputy president, the politician, or the deputy president, the state officer. During Madaraka Day ceremony, we have the deputy president, the state officer, not the politician.
True.
So you accord him the state protocol of a DP of the Republic of Kenya. What does that mean? Security, his safety, and his protocols, people he's coming with. Most of the time, the DP will travel with his wife. Okay? Those become state officers. So if the DP was a politician in state function, then the wife is also a politician in state function, automatically. So if we have a state function, how will the deputy travel? That is not supposed to be under the deputy's thinking. It's supposed to be automatic from the groups that are mandated to take care of state officers during such function. One, the army. Because it's a state function becomes the army function, not the police. Actually, the police becomes by standards. I'll give you a state function. The burial of the chief. What was the function of the police there? Just to show the road. It was totally army. Even the traveling was army. When it's that state function become an armed forces function. That's why you see the protocol and everything is of the armed forces. So if he is to travel to a state function, he's taken care of by the armed forces, because this is a president in waiting. He could be a president in the next minute. He's the president. And he traveled with Flamingo. You will now wonder how to travel him back. He went to Kisumu on Flamingo, but coming back he has to come with a military jet. And you, what will you do? You know, this quagmire got people during the Moi's time. The guy who was the provincial police, whatever, Rift Valley, who slapped Moi. Bah! When Moi ascended into power in a nick of a minute, that guy had to run away. Unless we've forgotten history. I hear he went, I don't know, I've forgotten. I hear he went to Ethiopia. I mean, he just had to run away. Because he didn't know whether Moi is going to hang him, to do what. You see, ile uoga unapata wakati umenyanyasa mtu, sasa ujui utamhando aje akisha ingia kwa power. This is the same thing that akina Kehika Kimani, who didn't want Moi to rise, found themselves in quagmire. All of a sudden, the Mount Kenya group, the small group of Kehika Kimani, the father to Governor, yes. Governor Kehika, all of a sudden, Moi became the president. Moi is sleeping somewhere in Marigat. And he has to leave home to Nairobi to be sworn in. And they had to make sure Moi travels in the bad hours of the morning, so that by morning, everything they had planned is not doable. All of a sudden, Moi is president. What could they have done? Some of them found it so painful. So saa zingine ukipangia mtu madharau, we Mungu anakuanga na maajabu yake. So if at all the deputy could not travel to Bungoma on a safe military chopper, let me not say military, I don't want to use the word military, in a safe way to Bungoma. Because for him to travel a military chopper, he would have landed. His protocol will have been taken by the military. He passes to the military VIP, because that is where he will pass through. So how did he land in Bungoma? He landed na kajet kake kakomasho yenye alikuwa amechukua, of course. Which other one will he take? Maybe amekomboa Jambo Jet, ameland na Jambo Jet, ametoka hapo, ameingia. So alipitia wapi? Alipitia red carpet? Alipitia military nini? No. Juu hakuwa akodiwa hiyo respect ya kuletwa na military, so he will not have passed there. Kama si madharau, then ni nini? Did he have to write, do you expect that time the deputy's office to write a letter that we will want to use a chopper?
No.
Shouldn't it be automatic? Do you want to tell me the president office, the president office writes a letter that you will want to use a chopper?
No.
It's an automatic. So what else do you want to be? So if it is the deputy president, the politician, then don't give him a chopper. That's why I told you these are two people who are different. If it is deputy president, the politician, who want to go to, let me find a name, CI again, where I come from, to oversee a harambe of Nyamrerwa Secondary School, then don't give him a chopper. Because that is the deputy president, the politician. But deputy president, the state officer going to a state function. Aye, my friend, if that was not done, then you sasa. Na ndio nilikwambia kama madharau ilifanyiwa Ruto, nilikuwa nasikia uchungu because to me it was not okay. You respect the person when become a state officer. Akiwa ametoka state tunaingia siasa, nao sasa muonyesha madharau ya kisiasa. Kama ilikuwa state function haikufanyika hivyo, then hiyo sasa ni madharau kubwa sana. Because to me he's a president in waiting. But akikuja kwa siasa, sasa hata mimi naweza mrudishia because sasa si deputy kwangu, ni siasa. Juu maybe anataka kuniondoa kwa hii kiti yangu ya MP apatie rafiki yake, so tutakanyagana. You see that one si madharau. Hapo sasa ni kucheza game ya kisiasa. Lakini ikifika state office, my friend, he is the deputy president. He's the second in command. In command of what? Provincial administration. Unajua yeye mwenyewe ni number 2 kwa provincial administration. Yes. Anaweza order mpaka chief.
True.
Sasa kama hiyo ndio madharau. That's why again madharau ya pili. When Raila as a prime minister complained of a small carpet, we didn't see it as a problem. Actually many politicians say yani baba na complain juu ya choo na carpet. Yani carpet ni kitu ya kucomplain, because we saw it as a political issue. We didn't see the state officer of the prime minister's office. So ikiwa tunapeana madharau, tupunguze madharau ikifika kwa vitu za maana, lakini vitu zingine ni sawa ikifika kisiasa. Sasa tukanyagane.
Fair enough. Coming to you,
vipi?
Kabisa.
Coming to you, Joyce.
Yes.
Now, like Mr. Ragalo said, it's not even 2 years. Yet we are being treated to all this sarcasm, or, harassment, or disrespect and all that madharau, like he says. The former administration, the first term was seamless. Everything was fine. In fact, we saw matching outfits, matching ties, matching whatever. They'd come address the nation together, dressed in same attire. Things were okay in the first term, but things started going rocky in the second term. Now, we're now witnessing a very different scenario. Things are going very, very rocky, even before we get to the 2-year mark. Will the DP survive until 2027? Or should he, like Mr. Ragalo said earlier on, just accept that his goose has been cooked and, now try to
Atafute allies, Atafute allies.
I've had 3 incidences where Deputy President was denied the state accord. One was on the tree planting. Of course, these are the ones that I can account for. Yes. The tree planting ceremony,
which is a state function.
It was made the previous day. CS Interior gazetted the tree planting day as a public holiday, purely to do what? Ragaro, to plant trees.
Which became a state office.
State function, yes.
I want us to refer to our records. Did we ever see the Deputy President planting a tree? No. Why? He was denied means of movement. That is one. 2, on Friday, on the eve of the Bungoma Festival, yes, the Deputy President was supposed to grace an occasion in my village. A school was designated for a chopper to ride. The carpet was rolled out. All protocols were observed. The school-going kids practiced all songs to wait for the Deputy President on Friday for a prize-giving day at a school we call Motonyora in Kinagob Division. The function was supposed to start as 10, and by noon, the chopper had not arrived. Only to be told that the motorcade of the DP is coming. So the kids are asking, kwani the skies, no, nothing is showing from the skies. Nothing came from the sky, but he came on road. Come on Saturday. What happened again? My brother Eric is like he was in Bungoma. He set out the pace. 19 months down the line, we have seen the harassment of the son from Madeira. When Mutahi Kahiga speaks, he's bitter because he can see and he can feel the push and shovel from the son of Madeira. You've asked me whether it will survive. Previously on this seat, specifically this seat, I've said, this is a gentleman from Madeira who is strategic enough. A one-time MP, 5 years. The next jump, he's the deputy president. How many other Kenyans? How many other Kenyans can do that and have achieved that? Let us be categorical. The president of this Republic of Kenya
has been there as a politician.
Have been there as a politician for how many years? Three decades plus. The Prime Cabinet Secretary, since in the 80s, he's been there. Everybody feels threatened by the movement of this great young man from Madeira. 1 minute. Is he going to survive? Yes. How? On Saturday when he was bashed at Bungoma, he went for a dancing competition we call in Kikuyu at Bungoma.
I just want you to hold on to that thought, because we're going on a short break, but I'll allow you to continue after we come back, because I also want us to talk about that particular event, because he said, when you see me silent, know that things are not okay. But he said, in Kikuyu, but he said, if at all things will continue to go in that lane or in that direction and, you know, in the wrong trajectory, then I will be forced to speak. That will be after this short commercial break. Don't go away.
We know that drought has affected over 24 counties and Laikipia is one of them. So we are hoping to give back, give them food that can sustain them as we try and see how we can mitigate the drought.
Tunashukuru Loto kwa sababu si chakula peke yake wametuletea. Pia wamekumbuka ile kitu inafanya tupate hili janga la mvua kukosa, ni pia tumekosa miti. Kwa hivyo wanaachia watu wetu miti, watu wetu wakipanda miti tutaweza kuvuruta mvua na watu wetu wataweza kupata mvua, wapande chakula na mwishowe tupate kulisha familia zetu.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the walls and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the burst of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua urged the Mount Kenya region to prioritize peace and unity for rapid development. Gachagua emphasized the importance of fostering a harmonious environment for the progress of the region.
Mimi nimekuwa nikiongea mambo ya amani sio katika mlima Kenya peke yake lakini katika Kenya kwa jumla. And the truth of the matter, we must agree, Kenya is made up of regions. And regions are made up of counties. For a region to be peaceful, for a region to be united, the counties must be united. If one in our region here, Mount Kenya, we have challenges of unity in Meru, we have challenges of unity in Kiambu, we have challenges of unity in Nakuru, then the region cannot be united. I have seen an argument yesterday, somebody arguing that for call of unity of our region, we can be isolated. Why would anybody isolate us or being united? Why? How can unity be a bad thing? Is unity a bad thing? Unity is a good thing. I don't think anybody can say that because we are united, we should be isolated. I think that is very retrogressive talk.
In addition, Deputy President asked believers to pray for President William RUTO and extend their unwavering support to him as he leads the nation. Gachagua emphasized the need for collective backing in the governance of the country.
I regard Gachagua was badly wounded before the election. I was humiliated. I was persecuted. I came into office a very bitter person. But through prayer, and I want to thank my wife, she prayed for me, and within 1 year, all the bitterness had gone. I was a healed person. I have forgiven anybody who may have wronged me, and I've asked anybody I wronged to forgive me. Is there anything wrong with us forgiving one another?
In addition, Deputy President asked believers to pray for President William RUTO and extend their unwavering support to him as he leads the nation. Gachagua emphasized the need for collective backing in the governance of the country.
Si ni kusema tu wa Kristo yetu tu ni kumtakia mema na kumwambia nyinyi muendelee kuombea taifa hili letu, kumuombea kiongozi wetu Dr. William RUTO apate hekima na ujasiri ya kutuongoza kutatua zile shida ziko za kiuchumi na kuendesha Kenya mbele. Na sisi sote ni watu ya mkono ya Rais William RUTO, tunamsaidia kusukuma gurudumu la maendeleo.
Martin Masharia, Lookuptv.
Sisi wote ni watu wa mkono wa Rais William RUTO na letu ni kumsaidia. Now, Kiswahili is not much my thing, but now, gentlemen, Mr. Rogelon Joyce.
Yes.
Before that event, immediately after Madaraka Day celebrations on Saturday, the DP flew to Laikipia County for the Ngogoyo?
Ngogoyo.
Yes. And
Ngogoyo means
the
sweetness.
Yes.
Yeah, when you use sugar, you put a lot of sugar in tea. When it becomes too sugary, ile uwezi kunywa. Now that is called Ngogoyo.
Okay. While he was at that particular event at night, he spoke in his local dialect, the Kikuyu, and he said, when you see I'm silent, things are not okay. But if things will continue going that way and probably get worse, I will not be silent anymore. I'll have to speak out and say things as they are. And it painted a picture of things not really being okay within the party. starting with you, Joyce, even as you know, you wrap up with whatever you were saying before the break. Is the deputy president likely to now, you know, come out and say, okay, I've accepted my fate. Things are not good. There's a plot against me, because earlier on he said, earlier on in the week he said, there's a plot, and more specifically to divide the Mount Kenya region. And at some point he accused those close to the president. And while in Wasingesho said, there are few people close to the president, and in his own words, wamemea pembe. And they want to divide, more specifically, the Mount Kenya region. Are we looking at a situation where, like he says, he will come out and, you know, now clearly say, I've accepted. Take it, bring it on. I'll take you guys on.
Thank you. Before we went on that commercial break, and again, I want to take you back to the tree planting activity. When he missed from the tree planting activity, he went off air. And even when he showed up on a Sunday service at Darasha the following Sunday, after the tree planting ceremony, he said, I had switched off my phone. Those were his statements, that I had switched off my phones, went to the mountain to pray. Of course, you know, he cannot switch off his phone. It shows he did not want some communication to get to his ears. And he must have been planning something. Then come the bashing on Saturday during the celebrations. And his boss talks of something else when he talks of something else. Then I think he feels he needs to go back to his home village. Sometime back when we were seated on this set again, we had the panelists, the host had sought to know, is it good to go back to your village when things are getting hotter? My brother Ragaro said it's not right. Don't go to your village, go to your other allies. But again, because your villagers know you better, your sisters and your brothers can read your mood and can tell when you're mad or otherwise, we'll always accommodate you. So on Saturday, he went to his neighboring county. This is the Laikipia County. And there was a Goyo dance that was happening. The trickiest part of the dancing was not the physical movement of the body. Because those who went to Bugoma, we literally danced. I've realized that Bugomans can dance better than the Ruos. I used to think that the Red Side dance better than any other Kenyan, but I've realized when we went to Bugoma, our shoulders were aching, some of us who are not known of dancing with our shoulders, because the dancing was there. So he did not go to Laikipia to dance. He went to Laikipia to seek stories from his villagers. And he used his mother tongue by then. And then he sought to know why. Why are you bashing only one person? Bona mnagoga tu mtu moja akisema hivi, bona mnagoga mtu moja. That's what he said in his mother tongue. But the Timao declaration, other than the Gogoyo night, you know, we saw a change of arise on Saturday. The rights of Jen Kihara, the rights of Tabitha Kiroche, Tabitha Karaja, they have been on the other side. Now, when we went to the Goyo night, those were the arise who were singing. And there was a message from one Jen Kihara.
Yeah, true.
That message was delivered to the desk of none other than Anoi Guru, the COG herself, and governor of Kirinyaga. Stop pushing us. That was an ally of President Ruto, who have changed camp now to an ally of somebody else. Are we in charge of rearrangement? Yes. Will the deputy president pronounce that he is at the side? No, he will not say it. He will not mention those words. But his allies will hit the ground so hard that even the devil will hear.
Okay.
That the ground is not happy. That you are pushing us. 1 minute. The Food Crop Act. And this is something that is in public domain. Ragaro brought out that message, but
we'll come to that.
One minute.
We'll come to the issue.
Not even that. The Food Crop Act was a discussion at Gogoyo night, whereby products from Mount Kenya, get this message, whereby products from Mount Kenya are finding them are finding them not accessible to other counties. Are you getting it? This is the mountain now that is speaking, that is addressing core issues. That Mira and Mugoka, if you use the Food Act 2022, which was revised, it's not, they are not captured as scheduled crops. Now, if they are not captured as scheduled crops, which are within the state control and regulation, then why are other institutions and counties restricting them? So these were discussions from Gogo night. Come the Timau declaration, because there was a declaration in Timau. And what was the declaration? From the creepy there, the deputy president is asking, is it bad to be united? Ni vibaya kushikana? Nobody, of course, answers, but of course, you do not expect him to be answered. It is not a bad thing for people to be united. Because when you unite, if ANC had united, they would not have been crowbarred the way they were crowbarred. So unity is strength. So it is good to unite, because once you're united, you are going to achieve what you've been looking for.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Regalo, the DP, like Joyce says, will also not come out, to speak out clearly and say, you see, things are going this way, but his lieutenants will come out and speak. Now, one factor is that the key, those who you term as, key leaders, those in key positions from the Mount Kenya region, are seemingly allied to the president. Because I'm talking about the likes of, Kimani Ichung'wah, the majority leader, is supporting the president. Ndindi Nyoro, CS Moses Kuria is also not going, leaning to the DP's side. Same applies to Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru. And I want to ask you about Anne Mumbi Waiguru, because you don't want to argue she's trying to also position herself, because her tenure as governor comes to an end in 2027. So she's probably looking at, can I be an option for the president in terms of, being probably running mate also? Because during the launch of the G7 for the women governors, President William RUTO said, I've talked about this and I'll ask you again, said it will come a time whereby if, the UDA party fills up a male presidential candidate, then the deputy will have to be a woman. Yes.
And vice versa.
Yes. Now, from then to how things are at the moment, of course, then the president said that, and there were sort of questions in regards to the DP's fate come 2027. Now, Anne Waiguru, because Anne Waiguru and Ndindi Nyoro seem to be the two guys who are, probably perceived as the competitors of DP Rigathi Gachagua. But I mean, Waiguru is a governor who, has been on the limelight ever since she was the CS, and there was the NYS scandal and all that. To you, does it occur, or from where you sit, do you feel Anne Mumbi Waiguru as someone that President William Ruto would look at in terms of trying to pick a running mate, or she's just probably sort of, for lack of a better term, being used to also fight the DP?
Well, initially, when I've been coming to this set, I gave out 5 people who would want to be deputies, just for Mount Kenya, DP being the 6th. I talked about the current Internal Security Minister, CS, Professor himself. I talked about Embu Governor, about Governor Nakuru. I mentioned Governor Kirinyaga, who is now Mumbi. I talked about Ndindi Nyoro, and now the DP. And what did I say? All these had shown interest of becoming DPs. Of course, a few have dropped out, or rather not speaking much about it. This is Nakuru, Embu. Those are the 2 people not talking much about it. Waiguru is a candidate, and Professor is a candidate, and the next candidate here is Ndindi. How do they negotiate this? Their wish is that, of course, politics is about enmity, is that the only enemy here is the DP. If the DP is out of the picture, then the three remain now to fight each other to get the eye of the king. On what expense? On the expense that DP suffers a backlash and is annihilated in political. Will they manage? Waiguru has nothing to lose. Waiguru, either she becomes a senator, where else can she go? Or she revies for MP, where Mother Karua used to be MP. Gishogo constituency. Is this called Gishogo?
It is, I think.
Gishogo constituency.
Yes.
Those are the positions she can go for, senator or MP. She was, women rep is more smaller for me, for her. So what else now for her? What else for her is being a deputy? Again, the same area brings out a deputy president. First, Kenya refused the first one. Now, the same area brings another deputy in the name of Mumbi. You know, because the first one was just deputy to Raila. So will they manage? I want to tell you this, brother. And I will tell you without cutting an eye. Gachagua will survive. But Gachagua may not be the DP. We may not be the DP for RUTO in 2027. RUTO will get a new DP in the three people that have left. Professor Mumbi and MP Kiharu. But how will he survive? Eventually, and that's why I'm called an analyst, DP will be in good books with Uhuru Kenyatta. DP already has acknowledged Uhuru Kenyatta being the supremo at Soko Mujinga. That was not a statement. No. That statement reverberated. It actually made shockwaves and brought back people listening. And for the long right now, Mount Kenya people have been asking, tunangojea Uhuru aseme tu, Kenyatta sema tunafuata. What are they telling you? They are remorseful. They are like, sorry to our king. The DP again said, we are sorry we made a mistake. We had to fight our own king. We acknowledge we did a mistake and we are sorry. And he asked again in Kikuyu, did I say I was sorry? Did you guys hear? Yes. Did you guys forgive me? He said, me. Then people said, yes. Do we acknowledge that our king, our leader, let me not use the leader because the word was not king. Our leader is Uhuru Kenyatta? Yes, that was it. So he's already coming down to a level that now he's meekly telling Uhuru, give me the direction. I lead your people. He's asking for leadership, which he didn't. And one day I said here, DP will not make it unless he goes back to Uhuru and Uhuru will give him the leadership. And when we had a meeting in Kiambu 3, Wamushomba said that word in Kikuyu and people didn't know. Modhegi, the leadership staff, okay, is with Uhuru Kenyatta. Now the person who will go to Uhuru Kenyatta to show leadership, Uhuru will give him Modhegi. So, and he was speaking to who? She was speaking to who? Martha. But basically, to me, she was speaking to all the leaders who are looking forward to lead the Kikuyu nation vis-a-vis the Mount Kenya nation. So, Gachagua has already asked for Muthegi by using that statement. So what will happen? Gachagua and Uhuru will work together. We'll have a new party in Mount Kenya. That party will sweep Mount Kenya like I don't know which sweeps clean. The same way Jubilee swept. Because there is no other party in Mount Kenya has ever swept. Even Fordasili didn't sweep. Fordasili came, there was DP. But Jubilee is the only party that swept Mount Kenya clean. Only. Even Kibaki didn't sweep it. There were still some people, Safina and who. But and that is what is going to happen. Okay. So what will happen now? Other allies of DP will be who? Kalonzo. Take it from me, Kalonzo will unite with the DP. And then the last one now will be a war. Now, let me finish this sentence. Mm-hmm. The war will be where with Raila cough. Ruto will want Raila. for his own survival.
That is what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
If they unite and you know Gachagua and former President Uhuru Kenyatta eventually work together and you know they have a party,
which they will.
What does it mean for President William Ruto? Will he survive that particular you know?
Now he'll be one leg out, but he will want to survive. But he will be one leg out because already you're talking about 5 million votes. Plus Ukambani around 1.5 million votes.
That is where the Raila factor comes
around
in.
6 million already. Ruto is starting with what? Now Raila factor comes in here. Raila eats all the way to Western Province. From the whole Nyanza to Western half of it. Even right now, Raila has 48 MCAs out of 60 in what? In what do you call this? In Kakamega alone. Raila has more MPs than anyone else in the whole of that region. Actually, there are only 3 or 4 MPs who are not to vote here. So now the issue comes here. Raila will be the kingmaker 2027. Or he will be the king himself to be made. How? Raila will, if he decides to back Ruto, it's home. If he decides to back Kalonzo Gachagua factor, it's home.
Okay.
So now Raila is the girl here, and you see the politics how it is bad. The same Gachagua was beating Raila. Now the same Gachagua taita Baba. Oh Baba. The same Gachagua. Okay. Now Ruto will also want. Me, I don't know how Raila will manage this because now he'll be cut through the two.
Fair enough. You don't want to say that. But Joyce, coming back to you, just like Mr. Regalo puts it, Raila might end up being the kingmaker in 2027. Is that the reason as to why President William Ruto is really pushing for Raila to get the AUC chairmanship post? So that come 2027, if things don't go his way, he will have to rely on Raila Odinga and tell him, see here, I supported you in to get this AUC chairmanship post. It's now I scratched your back. It's time for you to scratch my back.
Members from Mount Kenya do not suffer from selective forgetting.
Amnesia.
Not selective forgetting.
Not amnesia.
Not amnesia.
Okay.
Ask me why. Historically, members from Mount Kenya have always considered the gentleman from the rake as an enemy. It's only the son of Gena who tried to bring him nearer the house. Members from Mount Kenya on Rimurudri pronounced the man from the rake as an enemy.
Yes.
You know this is in public domain. And this was, Rimurudri was a major declaration. And they said the man from the enemy, from the man from the rake. If he prays wrong, he'll get it rough. But before I come to that one, Anne Waiguru was the CS Youth and Sports in Jeddah some time back. And when the NYS scandal rocked the Jubilee government, he sought writer duties from the then president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and said, Noba niede tu nipewe kazi kidogo kidogo, hii imeniskuma sana. This one of being the CS. I'm thinking loudly. CS Youth Sports, the CS position, whether it is forever mandate. Then he went now back to the governor, he won the governor seat, and now he's ambitious to be, just like did in Europe, he wants to be the deputy president. When did the writer duty
became the governor seat?
When did the writer duty now? When was this transition period between the writer duty to the deputy president's duties transit? Members will be asking, citizens will be asking, Kirinyaga have had a ready ready deputy president aspiring from Kirinyaga. This is none other than Mother.
Yeah.
Then we have another one, Ann Mobi.
From Kirinyaga again.
From the same county, from the same village, apparently from the same village, from the same village, from the same constituency, from the same village, from the constituency and county. Ruto in March 2022, when he was hosting the delegates from Mombasa, he said this, that come August 2022, he'll be the running mate for president, and he will have
a lady
as who?
as his deputy.
What happened? An answer for another day. So do you think Kenyans have forgotten that statement? They've not forgotten. So this add-on of having the female deputy president is another roadside declaration. A lot of animosity is coming into place. I want now to get back to the Raila factor. Rimurudiri declaration deems enemies of Mount Kenya to be anybody who is against who is for their taxes. Because most of the taxes is being paid from Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, north of Nairobi-Nakuru. And precisely the majority of these people are Mount Kenya. So if you are coming to tax members from the Mount Kenya, and you want to rein in another presidential candidate who will come to hit more. RUTO on some discussion with the Harvard University said, he's increasing the taxes, the VAT from 16% to 22%. Who be hit? Let me not answer that one. Members from the Mount Kenya are taking notes. And when they are taking notes, they also have their checklist of whom is on their side. If Baba will not be on their side come 2027, members from Mount Kenya have always said the man from the rake is a madman. That song will still come back. That the members from Mount Kenya will say, anybody who is supporting somebody who is coming to tax us more is a mad person. I do not want to say who is a mad person. So if Raila is going to play seventh this time round, let him win the AUU seat. That is only for 2025. 2027 will be a different matrix altogether, where we will have the son of Madeira, the son of Gena, sitting on one seat, discussing about the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, north of Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. And that discussion will not be about anybody else. It will be the discussion of paka akitoka, paka anarudi tena. Si panya anatawala.
Anarudi tena.
Paka akitoka, paka anarudi tena.
What I was saying is basically what she's saying. When we had Limuru 3, Wamushomba again, in their dialect, that she said that Raila is using NADCO to get privileges from the presidency, and Raila will get seats and money. I hear Kikuyu, so I'm saying what it was said. And I was really bitter about it. I actually made noise even in my ODM Kiambu County group, and I asked them. I didn't go to that meeting, but because anyway, I'm not Mount Kenya. They were just, it was Mount Kenya. But I'm asking myself, why would you pull Raila name? And in that group, I was told I'm petty by a lady there. Kiambu ODM fraternity. And I asked, I'm petty because I've asked why Raila name had to be pulled in Mount Kenya issues. You're talking about whatever is affecting Mount Kenya. But now you're talking that NADCO, Raila has decided to merge with RUTO, and Raila is now on the other side, is not on your side. What was Wamushomba saying? He was already talking to Mount Kenya people to hit on Raila again. The only man that is always bad to Mount Kenya is Raila. The only guy who, if you want a kid to eat, you tell him, I'm bringing you Raila. They will eat and even suffocate on eating and constipate the whole 1 week, not go to toilet because they overate because Raila was to be brought. The question is, if that is the Raila they know, and that is the Raila Wamushomba had to bring in, wouldn't it be right then Raila to work with RUTO? Wouldn't it be right then if that time comes? Because he has nothing to lose after all. When opportunity was given, Kalenjin voted Raila. When opportunity was given now, Mount Kenya ran away from him. And he was given to them as their candidate. Actually, he got votes from even a more painful community called Kamba that even had lost the deputy. If opportunity was given, then we didn't write to Raila to assist RUTO. You know, these are things you ask painfully. True. Because they hate on someone who has never hated on them. The guy has probed. The government spokesman today was my own member, And we know what we did to make him what he became. And all the way, we started the journey together. Someone called Mombi Ngaru, we knew who she was and how she became whatever she is with Raila. Rachel Shebesh as a nominated councillor to where she reached. Okay? We can give names by names by names. We even got someone who never gave us any vote into Pentagon and became a minister of cooperatives, the late Nyaga. If Raila hated Mount Kenya so much, Moses Kuria was taken to school by Raila. If Raila hated people so much, even that Sudi starting his businesses, it was through who? Through Baba. Sudi knows where he came from.
Even the likes of CS Kipchumba
Murkomen says where he came from. However much, there are people who say thank you, Baba. But there are people who never say they were assisted by Baba. They just hate him. Because if they say that Baba took me to school to India, the community will hate on you because wewe kumbe ulilelewa na Baba. So why would you hate a person who has propped your community more than even me? I've been with Raila for 22 years. I've never even gotten a seat of a secretary to Baba to, yes, I have education, capability and everything to become anything under Raila. When he was a prime minister, I was there, I got nothing. When he was an MP for many, so I ask myself, Raila leaves me in Mount Kenya because he knows me by name, by everything. He leaves me in Mount Kenya, but goes to another person. But he leaves me. He tells me, Nyathina, mtoto wangu, siku yako itakuja. I've been waiting for 22 years. But the same community, I feel bad when they talk wrong about him, knowing how far this guy has done for them. If it were not for Raila, that bypass passing eastern and northern bypass, it won't be there. Because they keep saying it is Kibaki. Oh. So who was pushing for all this? The same people were saying Raila na haribu biashara zao when he was bomoaring manyumba. They had a meeting with Kibaki to tell Raila aache kubomoa manyumba za watu. Then Kibaki told them, "Wewe wachaneni na huyo jamaa afanye kazi yake." Now they say Kibaki alitengeneza bypass. We know who made bypass. We know who made Thika Highway. We know who made Raila Odinga Road.
And even James Geshuru Road.
Even James Geshuru Road. Let's not hate on someone who has made you people even richer and powerful.
Now, Joyce,
so if you come to there, then I'll be glad to vote for Ruto if at all Raila says that we are going to Ruto side, because you hate on someone who has never hated on you. And Mount Kenya should understand that Raila is not their enemy. Matiba got, let me finish this. When Matiba was incarcerated, if it were not Raila, Matiba would have died. The drugs that were smuggled to prison, let's use the word smuggled because it's true, was smuggled through Raila. And Raila made sure the communication went to Matiba's wife, and the noise they made Matiba taken to Nairobi Hospital. If it were not the Raila who loves Matiba more that made Matiba survive, if he hated the Kikuyus, then Matiba would be dead by now. Not by now because he's dead, but by then. So what hate is this?
I want to ask Joyce, because she comes from the region.
Yes.
I don't know.
At some point in time, people are talking about, if you today go to anywhere in the Mount Kenya region and ask someone, why don't you like Raila Amolo Odinga? They probably would not have any reason.
They don't.
They probably just say, we were told to hate Raila Odinga.
Yes.
But, I mean, what is the issue with Raila Odinga from that part of the region?
Yeah.
You know, when your enemy, you can look at the physique of your enemy. Your enemy is the size of gorilla. I mean, I
know what you mean. It's too big.
Your enemy is 8 foot long, and you are my height of 5'1" is huge. That was I meant in terms of height is huge. It's only in Kenya that Raila can command a public holiday, which is not gazetted in Kenya. And all of us who stay in our houses, reading novels, looking at the TV, waiting for instructions from Baba himself.
There's a reason as to why he's called Baba.
That is why he's called Baba. Because, you know, he's literally Baba. Because Baba is the only one who can only, with authority, switch off right, and there's no right. So this fear of, my brother said, ukitaka mtoto wa Mount Kenya akule chakula, mention one name. he just told us, mtoto atakula chakula ya siku 7, fearing of that giant that will come. So that fear, that pronounced uncertainty of which side he will go, and the repercussions it will have. That is why it have that negative attitude. If for the messages for the community, then he's not our fear.
Imagine.
He's our strength. If the message is against our community,
he's bad.
He's bad.
Kibaki Tosha.
It was not. He was good.
He was Jamba. He's the warrior.
Yes,
he won the war for us. But when he said, "Now I want to run against Uhuru," Kemodo.
He was Kemodo. You know that you know Kemodo is that big person. That the big person is 9 foot. Of course, we were not there when they had their historical differences between the forefathers. They had their own issues. But we've also seen him silently keeping quiet when matters need leadership. You just asked us, when we were here, when he was asking, where's Gen Z bringing in a lot of emotions? You do not want a preacher in your car, in the matatu that you are traveling. He's getting rowdy, he's talking things that you do not want. We do not want to hear, our ears are tuned only to hear and listen what we want to hear. Go to Bungoma. Let's go back to Bungoma. Bungoma is a county with a lot of democracy. It has all the religions in the world. Yesu Atogarena ko hapo. The other guy, the other gentleman with 42 wives, Papa wa, I don't know
Papa wa whatever.
That guy with 42 wives. My own the late Cardinal Tuga came from that area. These are areas. Dinya Musabo is also there. These are people with a lot of democracy.
You've left one, Papa Waroma.
Yes, even look at even Papa Waroma himself is from the same region.
The man who commands thousands of voters in that particular county.
Look at what happens. The same region, the same democracy is in the mountain, where you can only choose what you want. You are not forced to take what you want. If you bring Raila, you forcibly bring Raila on the table. If the message is not for the members from the Mount Kenya, they will refuse it. If it's for the benefit of Mount Kenya, they will take it. 2022, 2023, 2024.
Okay.
The message is about Mount Kenya.
Okay.
How many shops have been closed in Nyamakema area? Nyamakema is the word from them. It's a Kikuyu name.
You know the question I asked, and before she finishes, I'm just asking: is it only Mount Kenya shops that are closed? You want to tell me that there is no Kisii person in the shop?
That is exactly what I wanted to ask.
There is no Somali was closed, or Mount Kenya are the ones who make losses, and Aluo is making profit.
I wanted to ask you, because we always talk about, you know, even we talk about punitive taxes, we talk about VAT.
Even we talk about Gikomba, it's as if Gikomba is only Mount Kenya who sells.
Many other Kenyans also suffer.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. It is not in dispute.
They're businessmen and women from probably Eldoret, from Nakuru, from Elgeyo Marakwet.
Not probably, they are there.
Where the president comes from, who are struggling.
It is not in dispute. I want us to hit the ground running on the geographical planning of the capital city of Nairobi. Moi Avenue, north of Nairobi, north of Moi Avenue. You hit the next road is Tomboya Street. Who are the owners of those buildings? Rest us without emotions. Omit names. The Rwadia Group. Who are the owners of those buildings who bought those buildings from the Indian community?
They are from Muranga.
Then I answer your question. But we are not. It is not in dispute. It is not in dispute. So second, the third generation, the fourth generation, the fifth generation. These are people who've not left touch with their buildings. So those buildings are owned by. You've just said the Rwadia Group.
Yeah, we know.
They are owned by those groups. Yeah. Even so, in terms of occupation, the buildings are owned by a certain community, but the business are done by multi-tribal. That is not in dispute.
It's okay.
So when you hit the businesses of these stall owners, these buildings become empty. They are not habitable. Why? People have shifted. Even in terms of
for even the owners of the building to be affected, those who are running businesses within the buildings are the first ones to be affected.
True. It's not in dispute. I've said it's not in dispute. You can also, if you are selling your clothes, there are some things that you cannot change, Ian. If you are selling your clothes, you can decide to close shop physically. You can decide to lock that stall. You can also shift to technology to sell. True or not true? Will you cross what comes of that building that have already been locked? So you have a ripple effect of closing that building. So the income being generated from closed shops, that was my message. It's not about the trade.
Okay, I have a problem here. There is always a mentality that has been put into Mount Kenya and this mentality is on 2012, 2013, 2023, 2024, 2025 finance bills, that they are all pegged to make Mount Kenya poor. I live in Mount Kenya. I do my business in Nairobi. I've employed people. I run a company, okay? I am undergoing the same taxation. I import things from abroad. I'm saying and it's true. I undergo through all this taxation, railway tax and all this bloody taxation at the port of entry. Then that actually affects the good to the consumer, okay? Obviously, how some things were being sold 5 years ago is not how they are sold today.
It's true.
Okay? I am affected. My name is Eric Ragalo Otieno. I'm not Kinyanjui. Am I affected? I am a Luo. Why am I not saying this business is to affect the Luos? Luos do business. They do fish business and many other businesses. They even own houses in Nairobi and even hotels. I know I'm a member of Luo business community. We were seated, we've been, even politically, we do decisions. And I've never heard them complaining. They just complain this taxation is too high, they're affecting our business. But they don't become too harsh politically to say, you are killing the Luo businesses. This issue that this taxation booklet, that it's economically pegged onto Mount Kenya, is to bring hostility in Mount Kenya to just hate on the government. It's not that it's pegged on Mount Kenya, because effects are all over. Effect is to everyone. Do I drive a vehicle? Yes. Am I going to be affected by the vehicle tax that is being implemented? Yes. Am I going to be taxed further in the insurance and what have you on my vehicle? Yes. Why am I not saying too many things on it? No. Do we have trailers? I'll give you an example. A guy who owns trailer in Rift Valley, and it's true, he owns trailers. Bundotich. Buzeki. Is he going to be affected?
Of course he will.
Why is he not making noise? A.O. Bayusuf and Sons. Do we have a fleet of trailers?
Not true.
Why is he not making noise? That is going to affect business in the coast. Do we have trailers for Nyachai? We know them by name. Do you have Moist trailers? We see them on the roads. Why are they not making noise? I mean, let's be honest. We would say as business people from all regions, this is what I expect, that we've met as business people from all regions of Kenya, that this is affecting us like this, let's do it like this. But when you peg it as a Mount Kenya news, that one you're becoming political.
Allow me to wrap.
Okay.
I'm actually supporting him.
30 seconds.
Yes. When the founding father of this country, the late Jomo Kenyatta, came in power, you know, these are some of these questions and answers are set from some precedents. When the President Jomo Kenyatta came in power, he brought in a lot of issues on not creation of institutions. Most members of the Kikuyu community by then never attended, you know, we need to be candid to ourselves, never attended formal education. A lot of business opportunities were created, including the smuggling of coffee, the movement of members from the Chaco, the movement of members of the Kikuyu community from Kiabu to Ramu,
or to Kajiado,
and Kajiado to be farmers. You know, these are historical situations that came up. Remember, even there's a narrative that came to Kuli Barabara. That came from the members of Mount, because why? Schools were not created by then. Opportunities professional opportunities were not opened by then. When we went to marry ladies from the Lake region, there was a good discussion that was going in. When we were doing the ANCOS, we were doing introduction, AN. This is professor, this is the brother-in-law. When it came to the members of the Kikuyu, 1 minute, allow me to conclude. This is Wamodoni, this is Wakamau, because we do not have names. The names. And names are created through institutions, the education learning institutions. Members from the Mount Kenya do not have those, professional opportunities to exploit.
No.
Are you getting it?
Okay.
So literally, they were hard-capped in terms of some sectors. So their only own sector of business they can take advantage on have been raided.
Okay, fair enough. We have sort of 10 minutes to finish this conversation. Now I want to ask you both in just a minute, because clearly there are now issues within the ruling party. On 31st of May 2024, the Deputy President said, again in Kikuyu, our own sons have been sent to divide the community, because of course meant those who opposing the 1 man 1 shilling 1 vote mantra. That includes Kirinyaga Governor Anumwembe Guru said so over the weekend, and he said, I'm foreseeing darkness. In his own words, I'm foreseeing darkness. Now yesterday the president said, in his own words, and I'll quote what he said, kuna wale wanatutabiria giza. He was directly responding to the DP, yes. And he told the men of cloth, kindly pray for them. Now, in 1 minute, Mr. Regalo, starting with you, because I have another issue I want us to talk about. What will be the end game within the ruling party?
The end game, hakuna 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. That one was used politically for DP to sell his name in Mount Kenya. It has worked. Now he's getting favors and people are coming back to him. It is working for him. Okay. But the real 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, it doesn't even need a referendum. No, it doesn't. So why would he come tell us? He actually sits he's the head of the economic whatever, like which RUTO used to head. He can work on it. Secondly, all the people who are leading the economy of our country, from the CS to the advisor, are all from Mount Kenya. Ministers, he has around 7 ministers or 6 ministers from Mount Kenya.
In key dockets. In key dockets.
9 in key dockets.
Talk about interior, talk about finance, talk about...
Yes, 9. They can call a meeting. That's why he said, when Nyanza had an issue of economy, they called an economic forum in Homa Bay. They sat down as Nyanza. They called the president. Why do you call the president here? He's coming to pray in the Catholic Church. And when he prays, he talks at Kehunguro bypass, then goes away. The president had visited us. That's how the president goes to Mount Kenya, by the way. When the president comes to Luo Nyanza, he doesn't come, he's coming to pray in Kombedo PCAA Church.
Audinia Musabo.
Audinia Musambua, Presbyterian. He will pray, yes, but he came there with a purpose. And the Baba must also, he has to talk to Baba. And Baba must be there also, because Baba is always in those meetings. There is something that is written and people have sat down, that this is what we want to be worked on. And when he sits there in Nyanza for 3 days, he's given what is needed in Nyanza. You see the way they work? So here they would have done a meeting. You see the way what was done in Limuru? It should have been the meeting. They read things that they need to be done, and that petition they gave to Kalonzo Musyoka should have been taken to the president in the State House. Or rather, the president should have sat there. I mean, the power comes to them. They should handle the power directly. Then they give the document to the power to work on it. But what have they done? They create noise. I'm sorry to use that word. They make a lot of noise saying this is coming to hit us, this is coming to hit us. And I'm telling you, how did the sugar issue got handled? The president sat down with the leaders of Nyanza and Western, told them this is sugar, this is and this. So what do we do? Let's do this and this and this. You remember the governor of Bungoma, Kakamega, wakikosana na Salasia, mbele ya president. That is what is supposed to happen in Mount Kenya. Si vita ilisha, it was because of sugar. I want the governor of Kiambu, wakikosana na MP wa Kirinyaga kwa platform mbele ya president. Because ya nini? Ya tea, ya coffee. Wa nini? Governor anasema hivi na MP anajua inafaa kuwa hivi, wakombane. You know, that is what we need. But what did we see? Anaenda kupray, akisha pray, Moriega, mwadhani yagoshuo, amen, then that is done.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean,
yes. Haitaisha. Yes.
What will be the end game?
The end game is a more messier situation than it was. From where my brother is saying. There have been discussions of waivers of debt on coffee. Debt owed to the coffee farmers. That discussion has never been discussed in the Mount Kenya region.
But it is
It is all about Wamoshamba talking and the man from Madera saying I'm in control, but we've not seen deliverables.
Yes.
So when the president of this country said, I'm asking for the clergy to again kwa maombi tuombe, prayers without action.
Oh, James,
the book, in the good books, prayers without action is dead. Prayers without deliverables is gone. If you do not deliver the data, the unsettled debt at the coffee sector, all these prayers will be in futility. We don't need prayers. The Mount Kenya do not need prayers.
Yes.
They need deliverables.
Yes. Yes.
They are all, I've just told you, Bungoma has a lot of democracy in Christianity. We do not want Christianity in the Mount Kenya. We want actions. And no actions have been done in the Mount Kenya. That is where it's hitting them most. Moving on, moving forward. If you want this game if you want to have an end to this game, bring on deliverables to Mount Kenya. Reduce taxes for members hitting the Mount Kenya, including now the Muguka and the Mira issue. It is an issue, of course I'm entitled to my own opinion. It is the issue hurting the farmers within Mount Kenya. If you want to regularize the Muguka and Namira, bring it to act. Bring it to the public to discuss about it, the repercussions and the issues affecting the same. But don't do it all.
Let me just ask you one question, because today we are on the 3rd of June, 2024.
Yes.
Now, on the 8th of June, 2023, the DP convened stakeholders forum on coffee. 1 year down the line, are farmers, coffee farmers, more specifically in the Mount Kenya region, satisfied?
Zero. There's no deliverables. All those were documents that were written. A committee was set, discussed very beautiful strategies that were to be articulated. Like we said, the one man, one vote, one shilling. It's an exercise in futility because there's no goodwill. Okay. The commitments on coffee, the strategies on coffee, it's an exercise in futility if there's no goodwill.
Okay, that is one thing that was according to one role that was accorded to the deputy president by the president. Now, as give us your parting shots, Mr. Ragalo, you talked about Anne Waiguru and her having nothing to lose because she's completing her term in 2027. Now, there's a bill in the Senate, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill of 2023, which seeks to bar governors from vying for any elective seat after their 10-year term lapses. One governor has come out to oppose that bill is Kisumu Governor, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. Now, as you give us your parting shot, do you support that bill that once governors have completed their 10-year term or their tenures, they should not vie again for any elective seat, whether it is becoming a senator or becoming an MP?
That bill should be quashed before even the first reading. A governor is like a president. Does the bill affect the president that the president cannot vie for MP?
This is his constitutional right.
It is your constitutional right to vie. The only right you can't vie is the right to vie as a president. But a president can vie as an MCA. If he wishes that he wants to go local, a president can vie for women rep. The only bill I would want us to quash and make it better is the bill on women rep. It should be called Active Action Bill. Affirmative action is not a woman. Affirmative action can be a man. We have a problem in Machakos County and Nakuru County, where now men are not even leading. They are far away. The governor is a woman, the deputy is a woman, the senator is a woman. I mean, you understand?
Majority women,
yes.
MPs.
So, the only bill that I want us quashed is that one. Ebu quash it. The other bill that I don't want to pass is a bill on CDF, should be quashed. Actually, CDF should be removed, and World Development Fund. Everything should be from the presidency and done well. I don't know why the president has done so well and told us the function are 3. So when did the CDF come to your constituency now? If the functions are 3, when did the function become a chief of finance office, CFO of your county, of your constituency?
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Joyce.
Yes.
Kindly, 1 minute.
Yes.
We're running out of time. On the issue of course, the bill in itself, as you give us your parting shot.
Of course, I would want to echo my brother. It's within your constitutional mandate. You cannot stop me from running any office. Even if I sought to run for the president of this country, I'm entitled. So the proposal of that bill is like here, not consulted. You need to consult. Don't meddle into our affairs so much. But before I conclude this great discussion, the TSC Act. We need to avast ourselves with the TSC Act. The TSC Act do not have provisions for interim hiring. JSS, our kids in the houses are suffering today because the TSC is abusing its constitutional mandate. It has not been mandated to hire teachers on interim basis. Hire a teacher. That is the definition of a TSC. Hire a teacher. If you hire a teacher, there's no mandate where it said hire an interim teacher. So if you've not been asked to hire on interim positions, Kaidre Nancy, don't hire on interim positions. Confirm those teachers. The Employment Act do not allow for interim positions. Kaidre, you're setting us on a wrong precedence. Our education sector is grossly affected. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for gracing this particular show, Joyce, this particular morning. Mr. Ogalo, always a pleasure having you around. Thank you very much for making time to be with us on the Morning Drift here this particular morning, the 3rd of June, 2024. Of course, we'll be following up various stories for you today, including the president's visit to Seoul in South Korea. Of course, he'll be attending the Africa-Korea Summit, as well as engage the president of South Korea in bilateral talks. Now, apart from that, we'll be following up other key stories here in the country, even as the political temperatures continue to rise. But as you wait for our updates at 1, 4, 7 and 9 p.m. you can visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke just to get an overview of the stories making headlines not only in the country but as well across the borders. Not to forget, by the way, we are keeping tabs with the situation in South Africa following their elections on Wednesday last week, with the NC party losing its majority, forcing them to now have a pact with either of the parties that they will choose, be it DA, be it the Jacob Zuma-led party, or EFF, led by Julius Selomalema, who is the former leader of the ANC Youth League. Now, until tomorrow, do have yourself a wonderful day, and like always, God bless.